My story. Do I think my dad made the right decision for me, my mom, and my sister as a family during the super tornado outbreak on April 3rd, 1974? Now, if you listen to meteorologists, they always tell you if you don't have a basement, go to the smallest room in your home, in your house, such as a bathroom. Get in the tub. But go to or closet, go to the smallest room. I do not always agree with that. I'll tell you why. I remember the tongue's a little sore, April 3rd, 1974 very well. The skies was way too black. It was 4:30 in the evening in Loveland, Ohio, of course. Loveland didn't look like tornadoes was happening. It looked like tornadoes had already destroyed it. Like I said yesterday in my video. And after you watch me here, I'll have my video of yesterday linked in the upper right hand corner in case you missed the video of yesterday. But first watch me here. It looked like, even my dad said, again, quote, Loveland is effing gone, unquote. My dad said that. He didn't abbreviate, It was blacker than black. And I do not agree with meteorologists there, but I do agree with my dad 100%. His decision was to put us in the car and try to drive. Now, meteorologists are against that idea. They're against it. But I remember what I saw on the evening of April 3rd, 1974. What I saw, it was just too rough. It was too black. It was extreme. Even my dad said this. It was extreme tornado activity. When you look at it, like I said, the trees along the creek that was beside our house, well, actually behind our house, the sky was so black. Now picture midnight and an ace of spades 10 times blacker. The trees actually had a white tint to them. That's how black the sky was. There ain't no way, even if you went to your closet, to the smallest room in your house, there ain't no way you could have survived that once that tornado hit you. It'd been impossible. You had to get below ground level. So 100%, my dad was a good father there. My dad made the right decision. 100% agree with my dad's decision to put us in a car and try to get away from the super massive tornado outbreak of April 3rd, 1974. It just looked too rough. It was too black. Lightning would boil. We knew Loveland was gone off the map. It looked like it destroyed it. The whole city, the whole town. We went to either Mason or we went to South Lebanon to try to drive out of the way of the storm. Tornado. You were screwed no matter which way you went. In the house, in the closet, in the small room, in the tub for protection, it didn't matter if you did that or you was driving. But my dad figured the law of average, we was probably going to be safer in the car, trying to get away from it. But when we turned WLW radio on, they was an emergency broadcast, 700 WLW. They was a tornado emergency broadcast. You was screwed no matter which way you went. But we decided to drive to South Lebanon, and we actually got a Kentucky Fried Chicken dinner. And I never forget, as we was eating, Dad was still driving, it come a hailstorm. And we actually pulled in South Lebanon. Now we had a Loveland, we lived in Loveland, but we was 7 miles, what would that be, east of Loveland. So we didn't live we did not live downtown Loveland. Way the bird flies 4 or 5 miles. We had a Loveland address. We actually lived 4 miles north of the library here. We had a Loveland address. But Loveland looked like he was gone. But anyway, when we got to South Lebanon, trying to drive out of the tornado's path, and there was a whole bunch of WLW radio was the announcer, another tornado broadcast, another tornado warning, another tornado warning. It just made you a nervous wreck. Yeah, I was 11 years old. I thought life was over. I thought, well, kids, I believe, go to heaven. And Mom said, yeah, you're right. You'll be in heaven if nothing works out here. You know, my dad, it was hard to make my dad cry. He did cry that evening. So did my mom. It was total panic. I mean, he was just the most, and to the 40, I say it's actually 44. I've been saying 43 years in my video yesterday, but why I do that, 4 and 4 sounds like, if you're in another room, 44, you may not catch it. That's why I offset it just by 1 year, 43. So if somebody's in another room in your home, they may catch me and come in your room and watch my video. That's why I do that. Offset it just by 1 year, because 4 and 4 sounds too much like a one number. That's why I offset it, to make it easier for people to catch it. You know, it's been 43 years. Yeah, actually 44, but it's been 43. And I still get nervous talking about it. I still get panic when I hear a thunder shower forecast, a 10%, it doesn't matter. And people still think I'm crazy today. Well, of course, they wasn't even born what I experienced, what I seen. Tell them my voice, can't you? And it's been, think of that, 43 years ago, and you still hear the panicky in my voice. But anyway, we pulled into this house, and there was a tornado warning for our area. Scary, you know, a lot of hail. And Dad came, he opened his car door, he came that close. We didn't see no cars, we didn't know who it was just some house. Dad came that close from breaking into the basement to save us, put us in the basement. He said, I'm sure any judge or any court system would, of course he'd have to pay for damages, but I'm sure any judge or court system would find me innocent because I'm not breaking into the home, I'm just trying to save my family. Not breaking in the home, breaking in the basement. He almost did that. He had to go to the back of his car to get a hammer to bust out a window. He didn't. That's where he's headed. He actually cracked the door open, getting to go. We was in a tornado warning in South Lebanon, Ohio. Or at least the radar detected hit. But now, let's fast forward to today, 43 years later. Did you know all this Doppler radar? Did you know why there's advancement? It stems from April 3rd, 1974. Did you know that? Yeah, after that, the government, everybody got together to build a better system. See, radar in 1974 could detect tornadoes, but it couldn't see in. For example, today, we already know if it's Net 5 from Doppler radar. Well, back then, we didn't know that. We could still see the tornado on radar, yes, but we didn't know how big it was until after the damage. So that's when the advancements of radar. So all this advancement today in radar technology today stems back to April 3rd, 1974. And that gives you any idea how rough that was back then. Yeah, 100% agree with my dad. He made the right decision putting us in the car and trying to outrun is probably the wrong word, trying to get away from all the massive tornado outbreak here in Ohio. I agree with my dad. I disagree with meteorologists because it was just too rough. It was too black, too much intense lightning. I mean, it was blacker than midnight 10 times, Loveland, Ohio. So I don't always agree with meteorologists. I don't. Because like I said, back then, radar didn't know the size of the tornado. It didn't. Today, we know what to do, what size of room, where to go. We know the size of them now. The technology of radar today lets us see inside the tornado. We didn't have that. We had radar technology in '74, but we couldn't see in the storm. We could see it on radar. That's about it. And, we had weather radio alert at home. My dad's he had a weather cube on top of the refrigerator with a telescopic antenna, and it was a weather cube. It was square. It was a weather radio alert. We had the technology for that in 1974. Yes. But we didn't have the technology they got now. Just enough to know in '74, just enough to know that the tornado was coming. We didn't know what size. They didn't have the technology to get inside the tornado to see the size, the wind turbulence. But really, you don't have to, as long as you know it's coming. But yeah, I 100% agree with my dad's decision on April 3rd, 1974. And I disagree with meteorologists.